Everyone's favorite series, Waking Up with Waffles, the series where we get up super early in the morning and we talk about video games and all things Catholic and all the things in the world. Let me fix my screen here for us so we can actually see what's going on. That's better. Okay. So yesterday, of course, we got the big news. I just gotta fix my chat now. Everything's always broken. New Pope was selected. That was, of course, very huge for the entire world. Everyone was watching, and we got a lot of stuff out of it. So that is where we are at. We got a new Pope. And I know people want to talk about it. I know people are excited. I know there's a lot of questions. So I figured, hey, let's play Wild Assault and talk about it. So here we are. This is your chance. If you have questions, if you have concerns, if you don't understand anything like that, we shall talk about it. There's also laws going into effect, or they're trying to put into effect, about the seal of confession. That is a big and important thing that is also going on in the world. So there's just a lot going on with the Catholic world right now. So I figured now's a good chance to talk about said things. So bring forth your questions and let's have a wonderful day as we talk about all this and explore the world together. In this game, I know people will ask, this is Wild Assault. This is a game kind of like a Battlefield. A lot of people are calling it furry Battlefield. Other people bring up like Call of Duty. I don't quite put it in the same realm as Call of Duty. It is more Battlefield-y. More hero shooter-y than that, so that is the game. So welcome in. Let's have a good day and talk about all the things going on in the world now.
We are acquiring Charlie.
Oh, this is not good. I'm being surrounded by people.
Well done, soldier.
Position compromised.
The enemy is attacking Charlie. Request assistance immediately.
Oh, that's gonna hurt.
Oh, there he is. He ran behind me somehow.
Reloading.
Dex is here. Good morning. You want to go home, but it's only 5 a.m. You've still got like 6 more hours to go.
The enemy is attacking Charlie. Request assistance immediately.
I feel ya. That's how I felt all this week. I did not want to be there any longer.
I am reloading.
The game is louder than me. Oh, well, let's fix that. Kenny, hello. Okay, let's try that. How's that looking? How's it going this morning, Kenny? And you see what I meant about the audio at the end? No, when I played the playback, it played just as it should have, so it did not do what it was supposed to do or what you said it was doing. So I wonder if it's something to do with the way that my switching scenes work. So maybe like live it has issues, but it won't have issues elsewhere. Maybe. Man, this is just a mess. Volume's too loud. Alarms are going off. My stream is just a mess this morning. Okay, is the sound better now though? Is it less obnoxious? We'll fix this one thing at a time, I guess.
Hold your fire.
Ooh, that person got some great shots off there. I thought that person was a bot. No, I wasn't even paying attention. You're not going to make me out to be a liar, Waffle. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm saying it didn't show up for me, but it's very possible that technology is weird like that, right? Like, it's one of those things where you can have a totally strange glitch and no one else has that glitch, and it's just... who knows? Jewel Pop, hello, good morning. How am I doing today? I am great today. It is my day off. I am very excited for that. We have a new Pope. Very excited for that. So it is a good day all around.
That's gonna hurt. Reloading.
Now, if only I could aim, I would be having a better day. But apparently I cannot aim this morning. Holy cow.
I am reloading. Someone's down. Be careful.
Welcome to my lab.
Alright, let's poison some of these people before we go in. Let's soften them up just a little bit.
Securing Charlie. Stay
There we
alert.
go.
Let's see who's the lucky one.
It is. It's a very good day. I'm very excited for the weekend. I'm very excited for so much. Nice.
Reloading.
Got it. Okay. I know, Dex. I know you said you wanted to ask questions, so here I am, Dex. Feel free to ask all the questions about the new Pope. I can't tell you much about the Pope Leo the 14th as a person because I don't know very much about him, but I'm more than happy to answer any questions y'all have. I know it's new and exciting and there's a lot of stuff going on about it, so I figured, hey, today's a good day to flex the Catholic muscles and talk about the Catholicism. So feel free to ask any questions you may have. That sniper almost got me. Oh, that sniper did get me.
The enemy is attacking Bravo. Request assistance immediately.
I'm also excited for Doom. Doom is coming out in 2 days. We're almost at the launch of the new Doom game. That is going to be wicked awesome. And there's another game I want to get, honestly. I played the demo of it. It's called Haunt something. And the premise of the game is it's a roguelike deck builder, but instead of like trying to defeat the enemies or become the strongest soldier or whatever it is, you're playing as a haunted house, and your job is to either scare or destroy everyone who's entering your haunted house, so you're trying to defend the haunted house, and it's such a fun concept that I could not believe how much fun I was having with that game. So we're going to be playing that as well, probably once Doom is over, because Doom is going to be all-consuming for a little bit. But once we're done with Doom, I really want to play that game because I love the concept of being a haunted house. You're playing a haunted house and you're trying to scare everyone out of said haunted house. Gonna play Blueprints this weekend. You should definitely do that. Blueprints was an amazing game, super fun to play through.
Position.
Bravo is now in enemy hands.
All right, let's take out. There's a lot of enemies here.
Get up. You still have value.
That's one. Go help this person. That's two.
Still need you in battle.
Neutral item is under control.
Nice. Okay, we got our stuff back.
Let's have
Now
some
we gotta get
fun.
these bots under control.
You really think you can get away? Reloading.
We're taking Charlie.
I want you to explain and elaborate on what Saint Catherine said. Okay, so we were talking in the Discord about Saint Catherine of Siena, and one of the quotes that she is famous for is
Okay.
let me grab the actual quote itself, actually, so that I can quote correctly. Give me 1 second to load it up here.
Get up. You still have value.
Let's see.
Hold your fire. Lead us to victory. The enemy is attacking Bravo. Request assistance immediately.
All right.
It's a trap. Take.
St. Catherine of Siena put it best. Even if the Pope were Satan incarnate, we ought not raise our heads against him, but calmly lie down to rest on his bosom. He who rebels against our Father is condemned to death, for what which we do to him, we do to Christ. We honor Christ if we honor the Pope. We dishonor Christ if we dishonor the Pope.
That's gonna hurt.
So, what Catherine of Siena is saying there is, as Catholics, we are obligated to submit to Rome. We are obligated to obey the Pope. So even if the Pope is someone that we don't like, the Pope says things we don't like, the Pope does things we don't like, we are still obligated to treat him with the respect of his station and as a leader of the church, because the Pope's position was put in to effect by Jesus himself. Jesus put the first pope in, Pope Peter. You know, Peter, you are the rock, and upon this rock I shall build my church. And he promised that that church will never fall. So when he created the position of pope to be passed down and moved around, that was ordained by God. And so when we put someone into that position, that is a hand-picked person by God to lead the church for whatever reason they may have. So we are obligated to do as the Pope asks, as the Pope does. And he, again, may come out with things that we disagree with, or things we don't like, or rules or ideas, anything like that, but we are still obligated to treat him with respect and submit to the authority of the church and the Pope.
Welcome to my lab.
And that is very difficult for a lot of people who are not Catholic to understand, because it sounds like, okay, so you're not putting any thought into it, you're just blindly following. And I guess you could call it that, but it's not just like, oh, I'm blindly following you. It's, I'm respecting the tradition and institution of the church that's been standing without falter for over 2,000 years now, right? Like there's a reason why these traditions exist. There's a reason why we believe what we believe. And a part of that is that we know that the church will not fall. So even if there is a pope who comes into power who people don't like or does something that is questionable, we know, because God has promised us, that the church will not fail, that it's not going to be the wrong thing, that person is there for a reason, and we are going to submit and obey as God asks us to, because it is an act of faith, and it is an act of love for us to follow what God wishes. God says, listen to this person, we listen to that person.
Charlie is now an enemy.
How do you like them apples?
Now, that doesn't mean that there can't be good conversation around, like, I disagree with what the Pope is saying, but I'm still submitting to what he's saying. That does happen, but in my opinion, it does not happen enough.
Reloading.
In that, like, Pope Francis, of course, was very, very famous for restricting the Latin Mass, and there was a lot of things with the Latin Mass that a lot of rad trads really disliked, and I felt that they were very disrespectful to the Pope with their rhetoric on that. They weren't submitting to Rome. They felt, well, I'm just going to be critical. I'm out here saying this is wrong, this is stupid, I hate this, and they weren't actually following and being a good Catholic. And let me tell you, the election of Pope Leo XIV has showed us how many bad Catholics there are out in the world. The amount of people celebrating because now we have an American Pope who will do Trump's will, that is absolutely wrong. The amount of people who were celebrating because the Pope is American and we need to put America first is absolutely wrong. I do enjoy seeing all the people who are upset that the Pope is anti-Trump and anti-JD Vance. I'm very, very proud of the Pope for that, and I hope that he remains critical of the authority and all the wrong that they are doing. I definitely hope to see him continue his condemnation of people who are not open to immigration, people who are causing harm in the world. That would be great to
It's a trap. Take cover.
great to
My
see.
ultimate is ready.
Gamer, good morning. Almost forgotten this channel. I was only gone for a day. It's only been a day, I promise. I will be back.
Be careful. Nowhere to hide.
Ooh. I'm dead. I should have ran. Been busy playing a big game. Interesting. What game? For the flesh desires what is contrary to the spirit, and the spirit is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. Galatians 5:17. I was gonna say that somehow Trump is gonna spin this as a win for him in America. You know, Trump will do what Trump will do, but before Pope Leo was Pope Leo, he definitely made some very anti comments on X about them. So I do hope he maintains that criticality, and I hope that he calls for both parties to do better, right? Like, a big part of Catholicism is forgiveness and repentance for one's sins and actions. So I hope that he can convince them to fall in line with the church and do what is right by the people and all that. Will it happen? I doubt it, but we always have to have that hope, right? A big part of Christianity is hope, and we got to have that hope that people will repent and do what's right. I know a lot of people want to skip right to the condemnation of casting people into hell, or that they're evil, or that there's no repentance for them, but that is also very anti-Christian. Those themes are in Christianity for a reason.
We're taking Charlie.
Oh, I missed.
Stay alert. Neutral item has landed. The enemy is attacking Bravo. Request
It's
assistance
also very
immediately.
interesting, and I know that there will be disagreement with this comment, but I'm going to say it. I think it's very interesting how many people who are atheist or anti-religion or anti-Catholicism in general still stopped to watch the Pope and everything that was going on. It's one of those things where, like, I truly believe that God is always calling people home and calling people to him. So even though these people may have never gone to church, may not enjoy it, they were still there watching Pope Leo come into the papacy. They were still watching all the hype and news around it. So it's one of those things where I find it super interesting that people are like, I'm not interested in Catholicism, but I'm still going to watch this very religious thing. What's the longest game you have playtime in? Oh, that is a really hard question. If I had to guess, probably World of Warcraft, because I've been playing World of Warcraft since 2004. So that one would probably make the most sense for me to have the most hours in.
Come on. I still need you in battle.
If it's not that one, I would have to assume that it's Helldivers, because I play Helldivers every week, and I have to go in and record for videos and do things like that. So I probably Helldivers is a second, but I'm pretty sure World of Warcraft has it by miles, right? Like, that I've been playing that game for over 20 years. So do I cheat? Absolutely not. I do not believe in cheating in gaming. The whole thing doesn't sit right with me. I'm with respecting people, but if I don't trust their judgment or stances, I couldn't follow them based on faith alone. I mean, that's understandable, since you yourself are not Catholic, so you're not within the world. But like that's like, I would say, half of Christianity is having faith and following people, right? So that is a skill that you work on and build, is being able to have faith in what God has said. But if you're outside the church, you're not going to have that skill or that faith, because you haven't been building it, because you're not Catholic. So it 100% makes sense that you feel that way, Dex, because you're not in the world, right? You haven't worked on flexing those muscles. Faith, I often say that faith is like a muscle. If you don't work it out, it's never going to grow. So you haven't, quote, been working it out. Of course, you're not going to be able to take God on his word of saying, well, the church will never fall, so even if there's a bad pope, don't worry, because the church will never fall, because you haven't been involved in that. That makes absolute sense. I literally played so long on my own Switch, it gave up and crashed on me. It was jailbroken one, and I was able to restore it. Did you replace the Switch? Because like now it seems like the worst time to replace a Switch with a Switch 2 coming out in like what, 1 month, 2 months? Like now it seems like the absolute worst time to replace your Switch. But here's the other thing, and again, I'm gonna refer to the Rad Trads. There are a lot of people who are overly concerned with the Pope and everything he does. And Bishop Robert Barron said it in a very unique way that I dig, where he said you can kind of get like almost a medieval peasantry, Zen-like nature, where you just don't know what's going on in in Rome, and you can absolutely live your life as a Catholic without following what the Pope is doing every day. Will he make announcements that are important to the faith? Definitely. Will he make some changes that could affect you? Probably. But for the most part, like, the people who are following, the Pope said this in an interview, or the Pope is doing this, like, for the most part, you don't need to be concerned with what the Pope is doing, because it's not going to affect your day-to-day life. It's totally possible to not be involved in the politics and following it all and still be a good Catholic who is just taking care of their parish, right? If you're like, I don't want to be involved in what the Pope's saying, so I'm going to continue to support my parish. I'm going to continue to feed the hungry, clothe the poor, to give water to those in need. I'm going to continue to support, the immigrants coming in. Like, it is absolutely possible to be a good Catholic and just kind of unaware of all these other things that are going on in the world. Gamer, all right. See you next time. Have a good sleep. Spent the whole day being a technician. I wish I was good enough to fix things. I am not a very handy person, unfortunately. All right, let's throw some poison down. We're in bad shape here. Okay, we're gonna need to figure out how to go around that. There's too many people there. We're gonna have to assault that from a different angle.
We've lost the lead. Pick it up, team. Securing Delta. Stay alert.
All that being said, I do hope that Pope Leo XIV continues the legacy of Pope Francis. I hope that he continues to push for the condemnation of nations at war. I hope he continues to say that we need to be helping those who are less fortunate, bringing those people in, giving them food and water and shelter, and helping them. I hope he continues to spread a message of love and forgiveness, and I really hope that we just see more of the same. I love basically every single thing that Pope Francis was doing. So if he can continue to do those things, I would be over the moon. I can't think of... The only thing I can think of that I didn't like that Pope Francis did was and this Pope has the same issue he's walking into. There was the allegations of the scandals not being handled as they should have been. And I think that can be said for almost any person at any time in the world with any position of leadership could probably say that that situation could have been handled better. I think that almost anyone could probably say that about any major scandal in the world of you could have handled it better. Well, probably, but we're all human and we only can do so much, right? So I'm not overly critical of the Pope for that. I do want to see what he does with Washington is trying to make a law that makes it so that priests have to break the seal of confession. And I know that him or the Vatican staff or someone has already come out and basically reminded people that even if this is a law, this is instant excommunication from the church. This is an instant you are removed from good standing if you break the seal of confession, because the seal of confession is so absolutely vital and important for priests and the faith that we need this to be here. So you cannot risk removing this even if there's a law around it. Break the seal of confession. So they want as far as I understand the law, it's supposed to be like if someone comes to confession and confesses to harming a child, that priest would be required to go to the police and turn that person in to the authorities. Now, what I think a lot of people don't understand about confession is confession can be conditional. So the priest absolutely has the power to say, I don't think you're sorry for what you've done. You do not get repentance out of this. You must go to the authorities and turn yourself in and face justice for the crimes that you have committed. It is absolutely within the priest's power to do and say that. And will they do that? Well, that's up to that individual person. But once the priest has now broke that seal of confession, no one's going to go to confession, right? And that's going to put souls at stake. That's going to put people at stake where they don't know whether or not they can trust that priest to keep their sins secret or not. Now people aren't confessing, and that means that people's souls, like their immortal soul, is in danger, and that's a real problem. So I hope that the cardinals, the bishops, and the Pope can all get involved in that Washington case and put some pressure on the government to get rid of that very, very terrible law. But at the same time, I also want to see them putting pressure on the White House for all their absolutely terrible things. Like, though the White House is trying to put together this anti-Christian bias task force, and I think it's absolutely the worst idea I've ever heard of. Is there anti-Christian bias in the United States? Absolutely. You know, I've told this story before, but like I was working with an artist, and they refused to help me make a cosplay because they straight up said that I don't work with Christians. And that's one of those things like, what? If you put any other race, gender, sexuality, religion in there, you would be called a bigot and you would be run out of business for it, right? But because it was Christianity, they were allowed to say, well, I don't want to work with you because I don't like Christians. That's horrible. On a much lesser scale, you know, I've had tons of like D&D games where people have told me straight up, like, I don't play games with Christians. I don't want you in my games. I don't want to talk to you. Like, there absolutely is an anti-Christian bias. But getting a government task force to, quote, enforce it is the stupidest idea I've ever heard, because people cannot be trusted, and you know they're absolutely going to do the most heinous and stupid things with any amount of authority if they're allowed to go out and say, oh, well, anyone who does Christian bias, we're going to prosecute or throw in jail or deport to El Salvador or whatever it is. Like, I understand the idea, but I think that giving the government the free rein to handle it is the worst idea we're ever going to see, because as you know, people are fallible, and people are going to abuse that power and do very horrible things with that power. So the way they're going about it is an absolutely terrible idea. And I want to see it condemned. I want to see Christians come together and say that, yes, this is a problem, but
be careful.
This is not the way to handle it. And I want to see people coming out and talking about that, because otherwise people are going to think that we're in favor of this awful policy, and we are not. I want to make it clear, we are not in favor of Trump's anti-Christian bias task force coming out and grabbing people and saying that you've said something that displeases Christianity, so now you're going to El Salvador. That is awful on many levels. So that's a whole different level of frustration. I understand there's a problem they want to fix. I want the problem fixed. I definitely want there to be the equality and fairness that people preach for, but they're going about the wrong way. I don't trust the government to do things in an accurate or good way, any possible way. Like, there's no way. Not to mention the government isn't even behind the fact that there's clearly a hardcore connection between church and state. It's a difficult position for me. I'm going to say some unpopular things here. Go figure.
Stay alert.
Do I believe that the world would be better off if every single person was Catholic? Yes. Do I believe that the world would be better off if the government was Catholic and everyone was Catholic? Yes. Is forcing Christianity through the government the way to achieve that? Absolutely not. No good can come from it, from the state coming out and saying you are required to be Christian. That is not the way to save souls. That is not the way to bring people on board with Christianity. That nothing good will come from that. So while I do believe that the end goal they are trying to reach is one that I could potentially agree with, Christianity, especially Catholicism, is very firm in the ends don't justify the means. And this is one of those cases where those ends don't justify the means. No good will come from this. And I know that they're not going to listen to me, and I know that we're going to have to learn that the hard way, and I know that that is going to be a black stain on I would say Christianity, but it's very specifically, typically the ultra right-wing conservative evangelical Christianity that is pushing for these things, but it's going to impact all of Christianity regardless. So it just comes down to, it doesn't matter whether we're talking Christianity, we're talking atheism, we're talking engineers, we're talking artists. It doesn't matter what we're talking about. People can't be trusted. As a whole, as a large group, people cannot be trusted to do the right thing. Individuals can be trusted to do the right thing, and even then, you know, that maybe. But for the most part, especially government, cannot be trusted to do the right thing. You know, we see that time and time again with like the police forces and abuses of power. You give any person any sort of power, and it's going to attract people, and that's. I talk about this when people talk about the abuse scandal within the church. You know, the public schools have just a big, if not bigger, problem with abuse of children. And the problem isn't the church itself. The problem is that any position of power is going to attract a person who wants to abuse that power. We see that with the police force. We see that with teachers who abuse students. We see that everywhere in the world, because that is just the fact of the matter. Any position of power is going to attract a person who's going to want to abuse that position of power, because that person is going to do anything within their power to give themselves the power to do the things they want to do. That is just how humans work. It's awful, but that's the fact of the matter. So whether it be the church, the school, Boy Scouts, whatever it happens to be, as long as power over children exists, there are going to be bad actors who are going to try and insert themselves into that world so that they can benefit from that power. It's gross, it's awful, but that is the fact of the matter. That is the world we live in. That is how people exist. It's awful, but it is a fact. So when people come on and say, oh, well, priests all do these gross things, like, no, it's not the priests that are doing these things. It is people who are already of that nature who are seeking out positions that allow them the luxury of doing these terrible things. Anything that develops a hierarchy corrupts? Absolutely. And that's like, we talk about Martin Luther, right? Martin Luther and his, I'm bad Catholic, I guess. Was it 96 thesi? I want to say 76, but I'm pretty sure it's 96 his theses, right? Like, he had some valid criticisms of the church. A lot of people want to say that Martin Luther was wrong. Did he go about it in the wrong way? Potentially. But was there corruption in the church? Yes. Is there corruption in the church now? There most likely is. You know, a lot of Catholics came out and condemned Conclave, the movie, because they said that, oh, well, this paints Catholicism in a poor light because they're just talking about politics and it has nothing to do with the religion. But that is the problem, right? That there are Catholics who care more about politics than they do the faith, and that is a valid criticism, because we have seen time and time again abuses in the church, whether it be money or children or how things are handled. There will always be, unfortunately, politics within every organization, hierarchy, and power struggle that are going to cause people to do wrong. I think that's a very valid criticism. I thought it was a very good criticism. And even if you say, okay, well, the church isn't like that, okay, but look, this is what Hollywood sees in the church, and if the outsiders perceive it, then obviously we're doing something wrong. If that is the perception of us, well, perception is reality, right? What people think they perceive about us is what they are going to believe about us. So we have an image problem. And again, that's not just us. The police have an image problem. Public school has an image problem. The current government administration has an image problem. What you believe you see and what you believe you understand is the reality for most people. Boom! Headshot. And it's one of those things where people say, well, that shouldn't be, right? It shouldn't be based on perception. It should be based on the facts. And while I don't disagree with you, definitely, we should be factually based. That's not how people work. People operate on feelings. People operate on what makes them feel good, what makes them feel bad, what makes them feel icky. So it doesn't matter what the facts are half the time, because what matters is what people perceive to be the facts. What do people perceive to be fair? What do people perceive to be right? What do people perceive to be wrong? Those things matter. And I think until we acknowledge that and make changes based around that, we're going to continue to have perception problems in every, again, government, power, church, everything is going to have that problem because they're all struggling with perception. Pope Francis had a lot of issues with perception when it came to the guy spoke, I want to say 5 languages, and oftentimes his reports would be misconstrued because he would be speaking English, which was like his 4th language, and he would say something incorrectly or be misinterpreted because he's trying to translate between 4 languages in his head, and it would get lost in translation, and it wouldn't be fully understood. And it's one of those things of, okay, did he actually say that, or did he get mistranslated or misrepresented, or, you know, journalists who intentionally make clickbait articles because clickbait sells? There's so much to it. It's such a wild and unruly beast of so many issues upon issues upon issues, you know? That's my rant for the day. That is what I've been ranting about for the past half hour. Actually, it has been a half an hour. But I still think with positivity. Overall, I'm hopeful of what the new papacy is going to accomplish. I'm very optimistic, and I'm just an optimist at heart. You know, I'd be optimistic no matter what. But I will, you know, through my fault, I will admit when I first, when the announcement first came out, and they announced who the new pope was going to be, I will admit that my heart sank because I thought they were announcing the guy that Trump was supporting, and I truly was afraid for a moment, like, they're putting Trump's guy in power. That has me worried. Now, I was obviously wrong, but that's how I first thought. You look like Corey. Who's Corey? I don't think I've ever heard of them. I don't follow a lot of streamers, so I don't know. Like, if you put Markiplier, PewDiePie, Ninja, if you put any of those big streamers like in a lineup, I could not pick any of them out of a lineup. I absolutely could not. I could not describe any. I couldn't even describe Mr. Beast to you. I'm going to try. I'm going to now attempt to describe Mr. Beast to you because I've never watched a Mr. Beast video. I'm not involved in the Mr. Beast stuff, so let me attempt to show you how out of the loop I am. I'm pretty sure Mr. Beast is like 6'3" with brown spiky hair and blue eyes, a fairly fair complexion, and I'm pretty sure he has bright white teeth. That's about as close as I could get with Mr. Beast.
Securing Bravo. Stay alert.
He's tall, has an unnerving smile, and dolphin teeth.
Victory is within grasp.
I will look up for Corbs after this.
Position compromised.
You really think you can get away?
Oh, there's a lot of people here.
Let's see who's the lucky.
I am reloading. Hold your fire.
Oh, come on, we need that really bad. We're gonna lose now. That's game. That cost us the game right there, unfortunately.
We've taken the lead. Good job, team.
I also, we're gonna get into Dex's favorite thing here. We're gonna talk about music. Someone on Reddit released an aggregate of the top 50, the top 50 highest rated albums of all time for music. And they aggregated it across multiple, like it wasn't just like one website, it was multiple sources who all came together to rate some of the best music has to offer. And I gotta tell you, like 40 of the albums I had never heard of, and the other 10 I disagree with being the best music of all time. Like, I understand people are gonna put the Beatles on the list. I still stand by the Beatles is influential music, but it's old, out of date, and boring to listen to. So like, why the Beatles deserves to be on any list. I disagree with that. I understand that people are like, oh, but they're so influential. Like, yeah, they might have been influential. That doesn't make them good, especially by modern standards.
Reloading.
I've never played this game. What's it called? This is called Wild Assault. It is like Battlefield with anthropomorphic animal heroes that have a bunch of special abilities.
Be careful.
Pink Floyd was on there. We've talked about Pink Floyd before. Like, yes, Pink Floyd has like 2 or 3 good songs, but I wouldn't consider it to be like one of the best albums ever made, you know? Ozzy Osbourne was on there. I won't diss on Ozzy, you know. I think Ozzy definitely deserves a spot in that Hall of Fame.
It's a trap. Take cover.
Is it on mobile? It is not on mobile,
Nowhere to
no.
hide.
Bubble's here. Good morning, Bubble.
It's a trap.
Bravo is taking fire. Defend the position.
2 or 3, are you joking? Okay. We are going to name all the good Pink Floyd songs.
Bravo is now in enemy hands.
We have The Wall, which I get that. Name an Ozzy song? Okay, you want me to name Ozzy songs? Let's see. Ozzy Osbourne songs. You have
Someone's down. Be careful.
Iron Man, which Iron Man is a meme. I don't think it's a good song. I think it's more of a meme, kind of like Bohemian Rhapsody, where it's not a good song, but people say they like it because of the meme.
I am reloading.
So we've got Iron Man. You've got Crazy Train. Crazy Train is a fun song. I'll give them that. Crazy Train is fun.
Reloading.
We have Delta.
Oh, let's see.
We have the lead. Defend
I'll definitely look up Corbs
We
after
are taking
the game
Bravo.
ends. We've only got about 5 more minutes in it. Iron Man,
Securing Bravo.
Crazy Train.
The enemy is attacking Delta. Request
Pixies
assistance
Don't Wear
immediately.
Boots. That's Ozzy song.
We've lost Echo.
I should know more. I should definitely know more Ozzy songs. There's more. There's more songs.
We are leading. Well done, soldier.
Trying to think of his albums. I know more songs. I know more Ozzy songs than this. I want to say Inagata da Vida, but that's wrong. SF, thank you for the subscribe. Remember Caden Potty? I do not. I do not recognize that name. Inagata da Vida was like Leonard Skinner or something. That wasn't Ozzy. The song is okay. Fairies. See, I was close. Fairies Wear Boots. That's one.
We're taking
War
Delta.
Pigs. There we go. War Pigs. War Pigs is a great song. That's technically like Black Sabbath, but that's Ozzy, right? So that counts. So War Pigs. I saw Ozzy in concert, so
Securing Delta. Stay alert.
I should know this. I'm the first streamer to say your name right. Awesome. Look at me go. I'm on fire
You
today.
really think you can get away? Reloading.
Let's see. I think that's it for Ozzy songs I can name. I'm kind of ashamed of myself. Everything he said is Ozzy is Black Sabbath, though. It's the same thing. They're the same thing. It's the same band. It's just like a different guitarist or something, right? Like it's the same thing. All right, match is over. Let's look up Corbs. Okay, I can see that. I can see that. I can see the got the beard, the glasses, the brown hair. I can see that. What other games do I play? I mainly play Helldivers. You know, that's my big one. I play Helldivers 2. You know, I stream whatever I feel like, whatever game is kind of I want to play. I'm a variety, but Helldivers is the main one. Sometimes World of Warcraft. Next week we're going to be streaming Doom nonstop because Doom. But I try and do a little bit. We did Pokemon, we did Stardew Valley for a while. We kind of do whatever the heart, whatever the heart desires. Show it to the cam. Okay, let's let me grab. Where's my internet button? Let's see. Let's see. I'm trying to make it work here. I'm catching it up here. Well, now I can't find a picture of him. Why is he not have any pictures? He's a Brawl Star player, right? Like, go to his Instagram, maybe. No, can't go to his Instagram. Maybe his Twitch will have his face somewhere on there.
Hello.
There we go. Okay, that works. There we go. Okay, so that's about as big as I could get it. That guy. I could see it. Like I can see there's, like I said, the glasses, the beard, the brown hair. We're very. I can see where you say that we're very similar. So I'll take it as a compliment. Is Black Sabbath not Ozzy? Exactly. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Black Sabbath and all. It's like saying that. Well, that's not a Rob Zombie song. That's a White Zombie song. They're the same thing. They're the same thing. They're the same person. Also, like oh, what's his name? What's his name was on that album? He's the really popular rapper right now. Kenneth Lamar was on there, and like. The dude's been in the game, like, I know nothing about him. He was on there for, like, he's only been making music, as far as I know, for, like, 3 or 4 years. So how can he have, like, the most influential album of all time if it released in, like, 2012, right? Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Do you play Clash Royale? I do not, but I am always looking for, mobile games to play. I like playing mobile games. There's a lot of bad mobile games out there. But I do like mobile games.
The enemy is
Kenneth, is it not Kenneth?
Request assistance immediately.
I don't keep up with these things. You all know this, that I don't keep up with pop culture and music. I hate you so much. Kendrick Lamar. Yeah, that's right. You know, Tex. I've been talking to Emmy a lot about how, like, I need more friends, more people to talk to, and she's like, well, why don't you get Dex's number and talk to Dex? Like, Dex would want to be your friend. And I was like, I don't think Dex wants to talk to me. Like, if I was able to text Dex throughout the day, I'm pretty sure he would stop showing up overall after, like, the third day of text messages from me. Try Clash Royale or Brawl Stars. I've played Brawl Stars a little bit, I think, but it's been a long while. Oh, shot in the back.
The enemy is attacking Bravo. Request assistance immediately.
The problem with every mobile game is that rather than focusing on making good games for mobile, everyone's realized that they can just put little anime waifus in there that make all sorts of weird noises and sell that to the masses. Like, that is the problem we're at now, is that all
You
these
won't get far.
companies have figured out they can make more money by just selling waifu girls than they can actually making a good video game.
Reloading.
Boom, got him. The game changes a lot. I don't think you'd like me IRL. I mean,
Take cover.
same. That's the problem. I don't think you would enjoy talking to me IRL. Ooh, barely got that person. It's such a problem. It's such a gross problem that we have.
How do you like them apples?
And I get it, right? The people have been saying sex sells forever and ever and ever, right? Like that is just one of those facts of the world. Wafa, we've had this conversation before, that there is nothing inherently wrong with video games. Video games are a tool like anything else, and if they're played in small amounts and that don't impact your life or cause you to sin, then there's nothing wrong with them. In fact, I write for a group called Catholic Game Reviews, and we have multiple priests in our group who have confirmed that as well. So like, we have talked to the experts on the matter and found ourselves okay. Again, as long as it's not interrupting our life, interrupting our duties, those sorts of things, there is nothing wrong with a little bit of recreation via the form of video games. So I know you hold this opinion, but you are wrong. I'm sorry. I want to be kind, but you absolutely do not know what you're talking about. This is something that I've put a lot of research into. I've talked to priests who are experts about the subject on this. Granted, not every priest agrees. We've got like Father Rippager, for example, who is very, very anti-video games, but he also says don't watch horror movies because demons will pop out of the horror movie and possess you. So I don't necessarily trust his judgment in that area. Are said priest gamers? Yeah, there's a couple priests who play Helldivers. I haven't gotten to play with them, but they're in the channel and they are active in the Helldivers subreddit, or not sub Discord, the Discord does this, so there's a couple Helldivers that play that. I know one priest who is very big into Star Trek who would absolutely love to play the Star Trek games. I'm fairly certain there's a pretty big Catholic group that plays World of Warcraft, and I'm like 80% certain that they have a Catholic priest who raids with them, so they raid with a priest. And talk about Catholicism as they're doing that. Like there are priests who play video games. Granted, there's not a whole lot of them because a lot of priests are, on the older side, so they don't have that habit and love and all that for video games. But as we have more priests coming through the seminary and all that, we are going to see more priests in video games. Did you suggest the cop game to them? I have not. Do I listen to music? Yes. I listen to music, but my music taste, as you probably just heard, is absolutely abysmal. I have the worst music taste in the world, so, you're opening a can of worms. On a given day, if I'm at work, I listen to music as I'm zoning out and doing spreadsheets, so on a given day, if you were to listen to my Spotify that randomizes all of my favorite songs and plays them for me, you would hear the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack. I love the Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack, so you'd hear Final Fantasy VIII soundtrack. You would hear the sea shanties from Assassin's Creed Black Flag. You would hear I Want to Be in the Cavalry by Corb Lund. You would get a big dose of Insane Clown Posse. Love me some Insane Clown Posse, so you get some of that. A little bit of Metallica, a little bit of Dragon Force, a lot of classical music, Beethoven, any sort of symphonies, orchestras, especially like violin heavy orchestras. Love me some of that. Chrono Trigger, Chrono Cross soundtrack, Stardew Valley soundtrack. So
be careful.
My my Spotify playlist is the weirdest thing, because you'll get a ICP song about hunting down child predators, and then you'll get Beethoven, and then you'll get a country song about being in the cavalry, and then you will get the Stardew Valley soundtrack, and then you'll get sea shanties, and it's just an absolute mess of a soundtrack. As for the weird Jesus game, so there was a game called I Am Jesus Christ that I played the demo of. As far as I know, they are still working on making the game a reality. So it is still actively being developed, but it is not actually launched as of yet. There is another interesting game that I've talked to, or I've watched the interview with him. I want to be more involved. Catholic Game Reviews interviewed the guy. He is making a game called Catholic Monster Academy, I think is what it's called currently, and it's a visual novel where you meet monsters at a Catholic school, and you learn about Catholicism from like vampires and succubi and demons of the night and things of that nature. It's a really interesting concept that I can't wait to see come to fruition. Can you try Royal Funk by JXM? I'll give it a listen. I can't promise I'll like it, but I'll definitely give it a listen. Like, I'll try any music. So I think it's a really interesting concept that they're using like the monsters as an allegory for people who feel like they're outsiders within the church or don't fit in within the church. So I think he's got a really interesting concept, and I'm excited to see what he does with that concept.
We have Delta.
I am reloading.
The lead. Pick it up, team.
I'll 100% buy the Jesus game. You know, I've heard that the company that makes the game very often will launch unfinished demos, and basically what they will do is they will put out demos, and until enough people play the demo and they get enough support that they know they're going to make money, they just kind of let it sit. So the more people that download the demo, eventually they will make it into a thing. But until there's like enough support, until they know that they're going to make money off of it, they just kind of let it sit until they can get some money off of it. Dex, can you time Waffle out for 24 hours?
We are taking Bravo.
I don't mind talking about Christianity. I've told you that you're wrong. You're just in here without any backup for anything what you're saying. So I'd like you to think on that. Boom. We got taken down.
Enemy is taking Echo. The enemy has the lead. Stop them. We're taking Echo.
All right, we're going to lose this match, and we're going to lose this match bad if something doesn't change here soon.
You won't get far. Let's see who's the lucky one.
Okay, we took that guy down. Let's get this flag back. Trying to think of any other music that I really like that's kind of strange or out there, but I can't think of any that... I mean, ICP is usually the shocking one. For most people, ICP is the one where they're like, why would you listen to that band? But I put ICP along with Nickelback, that it's just like, it's a meme to hate them. People don't actually dislike their music, they just like the memes. Because like, Nickelback's not bad either. Like, I'll mess with Nickelback. Like, Silver Side Up, Photograph isn't a bad song. Yes, it's a meme, but I like Photograph. Animals, Burn It Down.
That's gonna hurt.
They have some good songs. They got some jams. Another one, I can't say I endorse them, but I've been listening to them a lot, is Da Vinci's Notebook. Has a couple really good, funny, I guess they're like in the comedy parody sort of music genre. They've got some good stuff in there, Da Vinci's Notebook, but they've also got some really obscene songs that I don't vibe with. But there's a few in Da Vinci's Notebook that I don't mind, that I like listening to.
Alert. We are taking Bravo.
It's a trap. Take cover.
But honestly, I love video game soundtracks, and I know that this is like one of those things that a lot of people have criticized my like ranking video games for is a video game needs a good soundtrack. You cannot be a 10 out of 10 game without a good soundtrack. I think a good soundtrack is absolutely a must. So I listen to a ton of Final Fantasy music because they always have great soundtracks. Any JRPG really is going to have a great soundtrack. But honestly, Stardew Valley, Harvest Moon, great soundtracks in there too. I enjoy video game music. I really enjoy a good video game soundtrack. But Final Fantasy VIII is my favorite. Final Fantasy VIII and Stardew Valley, I think, are just masterfully composed. I think they are all very, very excellent. Like, when people talk about a perfect album where you don't skip a single song, that is Stardew Valley and Final Fantasy VIII for me. I could listen to that soundtrack back to back, whether I'm working on a spreadsheet, whether I'm working out at the gym, whatever I'm doing, I could listen to that soundtrack nonstop. It is so good.
Reloading.
Donkey Kong, Nintendo music, you like Donkey Kong, the jungle music is really good. Mario's got some absolute bangers in there. I could listen to video game music all day long.
The enemy is attacking Bravo. Request assistance immediately.
Who's attacking Bravo?
We are losing the round.
The final battle in Pokemon Scarlet Violet has been getting spins from me, but anything in Area Zero slaps. Oh, there's a guy in front of me. Strider, I was scratching my arm. Unfair. Skyrim, yeah, the Elder Scrolls has some great soundtracks in there. Pokemon music, I'm torn on. There are some great songs in Pokemon, and there's some bad music in Pokemon. I am excited for the next Pokemon game. I'm really debating on this one, like the Switch 2. I'm guessing I will be able to get a Switch 2 at some point. I didn't pre-order, but I'm fairly certain I will be able to get the Switch 2 at some point. But the question is, do I want it? Like, I can run... The new Pokemon game is going to come out on the old Switch, so I don't need it. But also, like, Scarlet and Violet ran absolutely abysmal on the Switch. So the question is, do I buy a new Switch for Pokemon, a game that I know I'm probably going to be very critical of, like, just to play it a little bit better, right? Like, I know y'all love it when I play Pokemon, but is it worth buying a Switch 2 just to play the new Pokemon? Because I'm looking at the lineup of games. I probably won't play Mario Kart, so like I will play the new Pokemon games. I will play Mario Maker when it comes out. But like, that's 2 games. Do I buy a Switch 2 to play 2 games? Like, I don't know. That seems kind of like a waste of money.
The perfect experiment.
I plan on getting it for Pokemon. That's what I'm saying. Like, do I buy a Switch for one game? It's coming out on the OG Switch, but like Scarlet and Violet ran so terribly on the Switch. Like, I don't know if y'all remember the launch of Scarlet and Violet, but there were like places where you were getting like 5, maybe 10 frames per second. Like, it ran so terribly on the Switch that I can't imagine the next one will run any better. So having a Switch 2 will, it'll run better, but I don't know if it's worth it. The glitches didn't bother me. It bothered me. It bothered me a great deal. Claim all of our points. I want to unlock this other rifle, the MK4, but it's so far away. I'm like halfway to unlocking that gun. I need to get up to... Oh, well. Can't even see now. We're going into a match. But also, like, I got my Switch on release and I played it a whole bunch. So I can't imagine, like, my Switch is very, very loud. So, like, the fan is struggling. So I can't imagine that my Switch is going to be alive much longer. So maybe I'll just run my Switch into the ground, and when it finally breaks, I will replace it. Maybe that's what I will do. Because, like, I still have a Switch that works, but I would also... This is the thing... This is the thing that would get me to switch to a Switch 2. My Switch 1 is a pain in the butt to stream from. Like, for whatever reason, it doesn't like capture cards. It doesn't like being streamed on the PC. It always causes problems. That's why I don't do it a whole lot, because I get so sick of fighting it. So if the Switch 2 promises that it is easier to stream from, it is more stream friendly, that would sell me on a Switch 2 instantly. I would play more Pokemon and Switch games if it wasn't an absolute pain in the rear end to get it to function, because my Switch just does not want to be streamed from. And, like, Nintendo's slowly getting there, right? The Switch 2 has, like, the camera features, it has, like, the Discord feature. Like, obviously they're aware that people want to stream from these consoles and have these interactions. So I'm hoping they're considering that. And if they make the Switch 2 friendlier for streaming, sold. I will buy it day one. But I haven't seen anything that tells me that that's actually something that is a focus or concern for them.
Got the first kill.
Reloading.
It might also be my capture card. I am going to upgrade my capture card. I bought a little cheapie off the internet, so maybe it's my fault for getting a bad capture card. So maybe it's all in my head. Concaxian, welcome. How's it going? Hello, hello. I also want to paint some minis this weekend. I want to get back into mini painting. I got some paint. I got some minis. It's time to paint said minis.
You won't get far. I am reloading.
Oh, hide. Oh, she got me. What's new today, Concaxion? What's going on? You excited for the weekend? I'm hoping, so this weekend, here are my plans for this weekend. We're going to try and make it to a tea house. That's going to be delicious and fun. I want to go to Wonderland. We have a little arcade, a little nickel arcade near. I'm going to make some videos about going to the nickel arcade. They put in a brand new, a go-kart, like a little go-kart palace. But here's the thing, like, it's indoors. I was like, that sounds awful. Like, who wants to be in a building with indoor go-karts? Like, the smell of gas, like, you're going to choke out on the exhaust. That's going to be awful. I found out they're purely electric. They have a whole all-electric go-kart ring that looks like a lot of fun. So I want to go there. I want to take some pictures of go-karts. I want to play some nickel arcade games. I want to do some photography. I think... All right. I need y'all's permission. Dex, Bubble, everyone. I want to show you a picture, but the picture is of a spider. I know that some people are a little about spiders, so is it okay with you all if I show some spider photos here soon? Is anyone gonna get arachnophobic and unsubscribe or leave forever or give me a bad Yelp review if I show a spider?
Reloading. It's a trap. Take cover.
We are taking Bravo.
Ah, I knew he was over there somewhere. All right. Once this match ends, there was a little jumping spider who was hanging out on a flower outside of my house. And I got some photos of him that I believe to be some of my absolute best work. And I kind of want to put it in the running at the state fair to win the state fair. However, the problem is, it is a spider. And I know people don't like spiders. And like, the judges are very biased. Very, very biased judges. So, like, do I put forth the spider photo because it's a good photo? Or do I not put it forth knowing that there's a good chance that people are just gonna be like, oh, well, I don't like spiders, so your photo's gonna get downvoted and not win because I don't like looking at spiders.
Let's have some fun.
That's what I'm debating is it worth entering the spider photo knowing that I will probably lose the competition over it? Where am I getting shot at from? I see bullets flying over my head. Oh, they're in the wall there. Okay.
The enemy is attacking Charlie. Request assistance.
We'll show you the spiders here soon, and you'll tell me whether or not it's worth submitting the spiders. Because I can submit 2 color photos, 2 black and white photos, and then they usually have photos in the category of like panoramic, which I never do because my landscape photography sucks.
Is ready.
And they usually do what they call the Oregon Photo Award, but that one is... I'm still bitter about this. You guys probably remember me complaining about this last year. It's supposed to be a photo that represents Oregon, so I took a great, stunning photo in a local Oregon coffee shop because Oregon has a strong coffee culture, and that old lady told me that coffee is not important to Oregon and therefore you're disqualified. And yet a rodeo picture made it, a nondescript rodeo picture. I don't think of Oregon and rodeos. Yes, we have like the St. Paul rodeo and we have one famous rodeo rider from the area, but like to me rodeo is more like Texas or a southern thing. So I don't get why that one was there. And then someone took a picture of a farm. Like, how is farming? Yes, we have farms here, but like that's not exclusive to Oregon. I'm pretty sure, you know, all of humanity has farms and finds farming important. So how can you disqualify my coffee photo saying coffee is just not important to Oregon, but you let a random photo of a farm and a random photo of a rodeo through? Like, her bias was gross. I am confident that she's just like, well, I don't like coffee, so this doesn't matter, so disqualified. And then they had the audacity to say, well, you've got 4 other photos that were submitted so you can win elsewhere. Like, really, that's a factor here? The fact that I have a lot of great photos means I can't enter this competition because I'm afraid I'm going to win all the competitions? Like, thank you for the compliment, but at the same time, that's unfair. Just because other people are taking bad photos and don't stand a chance doesn't mean that I should be nerfed because I have a lot of good photos. Like, come on. That would be my villain arc. I have complained endlessly about the state fair and their bias and unfairness that they present in their photography stuff. And here's the thing is, like, I don't even think I'm going to get to go to the state fair this year. Okay, now I will rant about the state fair for a while. So someone posted who is a local blacksmith. They wanted to go to the local state fair. Bisswalker, seems like you're getting some mileage out of Furry Battlefield. It's fun. I like it. It's fun. So this blacksmith said every year he goes to the state fair and they charge him $450 to open a booth at the state fair. It's a steep cost, but it's a big fair. Thousands of people come. Like, I understand that there's going to be some fees. They said this year they raised the cost and it's going to be closer to $1,000 for just the booth. So like more than double the cost. So that he can't afford to open the booth. And a lot of other vendors are coming forth saying that they're getting told it's going to be $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 just for a booth, not including taxes, fees, penalties, all these other things. So they're running out all the artists. They did not re-up their contract with the Artists in Alley, so they're not going to have dedicated buildings to artists, which is really awful. So like, the state fair is removing all the artists. That's awful. And I was kind of excited to go because of the tariffs. I know that sounds awful, but
The enemy is taking
one of the
neutral
biggest
item.
things that I despise when going to the fair,
The enemy
when
has
going to a
controlled the
Renaissance
neutral
fair,
item.
going
Take
to
it back.
any place where artists are welcome. I absolutely despise going to, I'll use a Ren Fair. When you go to the Ren Fair and there's someone who sets up a booth and they're selling cheap plastic fake guns from China or just a bunch of Temu
Reloading.
garbage. You don't belong there. You're not an artist. You're just reselling garbage from
We
China.
are taking
So I
the
thought with
neutral
all the
items.
tariffs going on, that all those vendors who just
We are
sell all the
taking the
plastic
neutral
Temu
item.
garbage wouldn't be there.
You won't
And so I
get
thought,
far.
wow,
We are
we're
taking
actually
the
going to get a
neutral
real
item.
state fair. There's going to be real artists who are selling real things. But if they're kicking out all the artists and all the people who resell from Temu aren't going to be there, all that's going to be there like is the dudes who sell hot tubs. Like the state fair is
I
going
am
to look
reloading.
real bare this year. And I'm not going to pay $30 for a corn dog and $50 for parking and entry just to look at some cows. Like I can drive anywhere and look at cows. I don't need the state fair for that. This is something I like about living in India. Local artisans aren't gutted. Yes, they are struggling a bit, but they're being pushed out. They're not being pushed out of spaces. It makes me so mad. Real artists are getting
Charlie
kicked
is
out
taking
everywhere.
fire.
And like, I know I've
Defend
ranted
the
before this
position.
before, but 3D printers do not belong in Artist Alley unless I will make an exception. If you are a 3D printer and you are making your own 3D printed designs, you're printing your own designs,
taking
you're
Bravo.
sanding them, and you're painting them,
Enemy
I
is
will
taking
consider that a
Charlie.
piece of art. But if you're just
The enemy
mass
has taken the
producing
lead.
and selling
Don't let them
random
get away with
STL files that anyone can buy off the internet, you are not an artist. You are a reseller
We are
producing
acquiring Bravo.
garbage. You do not belong at the
We've
Ren
lost
Fair.
the lead.
You do not belong
Pick
at
it
the
up,
State
team.
Fair. I'm sorry. I know that people are going to take issue with that, but just being able to 3D print garbage does not make you an artist. In the same way people don't want AI
really
artists
think you can get
coming
away?
to these fairs. That's another one that upsets me. You don't belong in
Reloading.
Artist Alley if you're going to come and sell AI generated art. You're not an artist. I'm not anti-AI art. I enjoy AI art and I believe it has a place, but you don't belong in Artist Alley if you're just typing in prompts into AI and then selling it to people. Speaking of which, there was a really interesting Reddit post about that. Someone went to a tattoo artist. They went and got their tattoo. They got the tattoo stenciled, and they have half the tattoo entered onto their arm. So they've been paying for the tattoo. They have been getting the tattoo, and the artist admitted while they were getting the tattoo, they said, "Oh yeah, I designed your tattoo with AI, so you're gonna be like one of the
Securing
first
target
people with an
Alpha.
AI tattoo on you."
We are leading.
And the person
Well
lost their
done,
mind. Like, you didn't
soldier.
tell me that. I thought I was getting like a hand-drawn piece of art. You're telling me you're tattooing AI art on my body? Is the person justified for being upset that the artist did not
Position
tell them that they
compromised.
gave them an AI tattoo? Was it the Chimera tattoo? I think it was
Bravo is
partially
taking
a
fire.
Chimera, like it
Defend
was
the position.
a fish lion thingy. That one.
We've lost Bravo. We're taking Charlie.
Another artist who I don't like seeing at artisanal fairs.
Bravo.
I am reloading.
Tumbler
Has the
makers,
lead. Stop that.
coffee cup makers. You're not an artist if you're taking a design off the internet, slapping it on a tumbler and selling it. If you design the design yourself, okay, but I know most of them are not. I know most of them are just Googling cool galaxy or trippy pattern or whatever it is, and
Securing target Charlie.
they're just slapping it on a tumbler. Like,
We
it makes me
have the
so
lead.
mad. You're a
Defend the
reseller. You are
targets.
not an artist. Tattoos are expensive and they're paying for labor. Well, I mean, they're still getting the labor. They're putting the tattoo on there, but I assume part of that labor includes the artist's labor of designing a piece of art.
You won't get far. Someone's down. Be careful.
The enemy is
Reloading.
attacking Charlie.
My ultimate
Request
is ready.
assistance immediately.
So yeah, that was an interesting thing to see.
I am reloading.
Sorry, I'm very ranty today. I'm very upset, but like, I'm a photographer. We've talked about this. I struggled with the longest time to call myself an artist as a photographer because I didn't feel like an artist. I was like, well, I'm just clicking a button. Like, I'm not actually creating art. I am not an artist.
Nowhere to hide.
And as I've grown my skills and seen how much like time I put into learning composition and learning how to work the camera and how to produce certain effects, yes, that is a piece of art. That is the time and effort that I have put into to learn how to create the effects and create the photos is an art form. And yes, I'm using a camera to capture the art, but there's still a lot that goes into it. I've created photos that I believe other people would not be able to simply recreate. Therefore, it is art. So like, it just frustrates me to see so many people tagging themselves as artists when they're not putting any time or effort. They're just reselling 3D prints or making a Tumblr with AI. Like, it gets my goat every time.
Securing Bravo. Stay alert.
Same thing with writing. I think writing is 100% art. Oh, definitely.
Securing target
And that's
Bravo.
actually, I wanted to do this last year, but I
We
missed
are
the
leading.
deadline.
Well done, soldiers.
One of the things I super enjoy doing is I like using my photos as inspiration for writing haikus. I really enjoy writing haikus. So I want to enter into the poetry contest a mashup of my art, my photos with my haikus. I really want to do that. I'm really nervous about doing that because I know I'm not a great writer. I'm a wannabe writer. But there's a certain level of vulnerability of like, this is my photo, this is my feelings put into a haiku, and I'm really nervous about actually entering that, but I really want to. I really want to enter my writing into the state fair this year, so we'll see if I actually end up doing it. But I love writing haikus. It is my favorite form of poetry. It is the only form of poetry that I can do.
Good job, and keep it up.
But I'm an okay at best writer, so that one's probably the only thing it'll probably win is a creativity award for mashing together writing and photography. I don't think I'm actually going to win any poetry awards. The problem with my poetry is I'm too cringe. I'm 14. This is deep. I try too hard to evoke and create emotions with my writing.
Reloading. Cover me.
Let's see who's the lucky.
Oh, that was unfair.
It's not the city.
Two against one. Massive unfairness. Good luck if you do. Thank you.
Someone spotted me.
Like, the first year I entered the state fair, I did not place a single place, but I sold every single photo. And to me, that's better than winning the state fair, right? I could have a gold medal that means nothing, but instead people bought my art and put it in their houses, and that's worth a lot more to me than a gold medal. Last year I entered and I didn't place anything and no one bought any of my photos, and that hurt a little bit, but I also understand, like, as the recession kicks up, less and less people are going to be buying art, right? Like, I understand that if you can barely afford food, you're not going to be buying a $100 photograph to put on your wall, right? Like, I understand that.
Immediately.
So this year I'm going to downprice my photos. I am of the belief that every person should have access to art and everyone should be able to enjoy art. So I will probably put my photos up, even though my photos, I would put my photos around $100 to $200. I think this year I'm going to set my photos at $20, $10 or $20. That way, if people want them, they can purchase them and they can enjoy my art. I'd rather have my art in someone's house to be enjoyed than make $100 off of it. So I think this year I'm going to down price a lot of my photos so that people can own a copy of it if they want to. Are you playing as a skunk? A Helldiver can leave gas mines, but the gas mines never leave the Helldiver. Yes, the skunk is my favorite character because she uses area of denial and designated marksman rifles, which I feel like I'm not a great sniper. I'm not good at sniping in games. My favorite position is designated marksman, where you have a rifle that has got a little bit more range, but it's not a sniper rifle, but it's got flexibility. So between area of denial, being able to heal people, and the designated marksman rifle, I feel like she has such a good amount of abilities where like you can deny people areas, you can do sniper tactics, you can support your team. Like, the thing is, I am a support at heart. Like, I play World of Warcraft, I'm a healer. I play League of Legends, I'm a support. Like, I love playing the support in games. So being able to support my team is my favorite position to play in. So I feel like she is a good support. I'm also confident that people who like to play support really hate themselves, because playing League of Legends and being support means that everyone else gets to have fun and do all the cool things, and you're sitting in the background making it all happen, but being ignored, right? Like, no one recognizes the supports.
Is ready. Welcome to my lab.
So, you know, it's a thankless job, but someone's got to be the healer, someone's got to be the support.
Securing Alpha. Stay alert.
This person in this match, Arashi, I was in the Discord and I was starting to make a video on the like top 5 players you never want to meet in this game, and Arashi's name kept popping up, and I see why. Arashi is absolutely kicking my butt left and right. And there she just kicked my butt again. Oh, yeah. Speaking of Helldivers, though, so Helldivers, their next war bond, they are introducing a flag that you can carry, and as far as we can tell, the flag can only be carried, and it doesn't do anything when you're carrying it. So I'm going to need to put together a team. I'm going to need 3 other Helldivers, and we're going to have to do a hardcore run of Helldivers where they have to protect someone carrying the flag through the entire mission. So basically you're 3-manning it while playing protect the flag while you're also doing other missions. I think that'll be a really fun challenge mode. So I want to get some Helldivers together and do a challenge mode run of the flag carrying, if that's what the flag ends up doing. We'll see for sure once we get the war bond next week, but I think that's gonna be a lot of fun. All right, it is about time to end the stream for the day. As always, it's time for me to go do chores, go do dishes. I will say, okay, one last thing before I go. So, Pope Leo is from Chicago. So last night I convinced Emmy, like, well, we got a Chicago Pope, right? Like, we need to celebrate, and let's celebrate by getting something we've never had, which is a traditional Chicago deep dish pizza. So we went out last night and got a deep dish pizza in honor of our Chicago Pope. And I gotta say, I think deep dish pizza is now my favorite way to enjoy pizza. Like, that was such a good slice of pizza. I know some people just call it lasagna. It tasted nothing like lasagna. It was good. So thank you, Pope Leo, for encouraging us to go out and celebrate the Chicago style and get Chicago deep dish pizza. So that was a lot of fun. All right, now with that said, I am going to end the stream. As always, we are going to end with prayer. So let's start there. In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive those who trespass against us, and lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. Amen. Lord, thank you for this blessed day. Today we pray for the intentions of our Holy Father, Pope Leo XIV. Help to guide him through this transition as he starts his papacy and leads the church forward. We pray for all those who are sick, all the people suffering with disease or illness. Lord, help them. We pray for all the people who are struggling with mental illness, all the people who are struggling with loneliness, all the people who need a friend or someone to talk to. Lord, help to provide for them. We pray for all the people who are hungry, who don't have enough food. Lord, provide for them. We pray for all the people who are graduating here soon. We've only got 2 more months until people are entering into the world, and there's going to be a lot of loss and confusion and what do I do with my life and all those things that come with being 18 and freshly out in the world. Lord, help to guide them the right path and help to guide them to a happy and fruitful life that is both pleasing to them and, more importantly, pleasing to you. And finally, we pray for all the souls in purgatory, all the souls who have no one left to pray for them. Lord, help them. All this we pray in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen. All right. Thank you, everyone, for joining me today. Is deep dish pizza good? It scares me, if I'm being honest. It was delicious. I will say it does look like it is more unhealthy than regular pizza, if that's possible. Like, there was a little bit more oil than I think on a regular pizza and a lot more sauce. So it's probably less healthy for you than regular pizza, if you can call regular pizza healthy, but it was delicious. You should try it. I was surprised at how much I liked the deep dish pizza. It was super delicious. So thank you everyone for subscribing, for following. I appreciate you all. We will be back at it on Monday. We're most likely going to have a special stream on Tuesday, since Tuesday is the day that Doom comes out in early access. And you know I'm a huge Doom fan. So be on the lookout. We are going to do some extra streams next week in honor of Doom. If not, I'll see you on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday next week. Have a blessed weekend. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here, and I look forward to seeing you all again.